I found it! I found it! After weeks of testing all of these budget speakers, I have finally found the best ones at different price points. From one that literally costs less than 1,000 rupees to something that could make you the king of karaoke, and even something that will actually make your room aesthetic, I have got just the thing for you guys. So if you're on a tight budget and cannot spend more than 1,000 rupees on a new speaker, let me recommend to you the Mivi Roam 2. I know this thing is half a decade old at this point, but for some 700 rupees, it's still an excellent value for money if you ask me. It has a sort of bright sound signature with a boost in the mids and the upper mid-range section, which is to say that if your playlist mostly has songs that are vocal heavy, or if you listen to a lot of classical and jazz songs, they are going to sound pretty great on this very speaker. Its bass response is quite mediocre even for a compact speaker, but at this price point, I don't really want to complain. The Mivi Roam 2 also has a ridiculous 24-hour battery life, a decent enough microphone for phone calls, and a premium metal cover and water-resistant design as well. Now, for those who can extend their budget to some 2,000 rupees, let me bring in both Stone 352 Pro. It's big, it has RGB, it costs twice as much as the Mivi Roam 2, but what if I told you these two sound a lot more similar than you might think? Yes, this Bose speaker also has a bright-ish sound that works for most genres of music. Now, while I like the bright sound signature, there's surprisingly not much bass considering the size though, and I feel like its bass hits don't have much weight to them either. And as I was turning up the volume, it became immediately clear to me that I shouldn't be doing so because female vocals and most treble notes also come off quite shouty on this guy. Again, that's really not a problem when listening at moderate volume, but yeah, if you prefer this kind of sound and if you're looking for a budget speaker with a little bit of character, definitely check out the Bose Stone 352 Pro. Next up, I want to go through 3 different speakers at around 2,000 rupees. There is the JBL Go 3, my favorite compact speaker. Then we have the Portronics Apollo 30, which is an affordable karaoke speaker. And then there is the Portronics Sounddrum P. I don't even need to talk that much about the JBL Go 3 because this is such a popular budget speaker with more than 70,000 ratings on Amazon and a remarkable 4.5 star average. I remember loving its sound when I first tested it more than 5 years ago, and I am glad to tell you that nothing has changed ever since. The Go 3 is an absolutely fantastic tiny speaker with a nice, clean, clear sound that works great for all kinds of songs. Just don't expect much in terms of bass and you should be good to go. Oh, and there is one thing that I would like to add, by the way. So, you know how most people judge a speaker's quality simply by comparing their output capacity? Yeah, that is a bad idea because you see the JBL Go 3 with a 4.2 watt output is actually louder and retains better clarity than the Mivi Roam 2, which has a 5 watt rated power. Then we have the Apollo 30 from Portronics. Actually, I was not expecting to be wowed by this thing at all, but credit where credit's due, this is a damn impressive karaoke speaker on a budget. Wait, even putting its karaoke aspect aside for a minute, I would say that the Apollo 30 stands out on its own. Its hollow, all-plastic build with no IP rating of any kind is honestly nothing to write home about, but besides that, Portronics has knocked it out of the park. The Apollo 30's front-firing speakers have a balanced, slightly mid-forward tuning that's hard not to like. I was also expecting it to sound distorted at high volumes, which often happens with cheap, poorly built speakers, but no, the Apollo 30 surprised me yet again. I'm really digging the echo control feature on its karaoke microphone too. So for those moments where you feel like showing off your singing skills with your buddies without masking your voice behind echo and reverb, this is perfect. Alright, so far every speaker that I've discussed has one thing in common. It has a pretty sucky bass response. That's why I am bringing out an absolute bass cannon now, the Portronics Sounddrum P. Its 360-degree design mixed with a powerful 20-watt sound that's been tuned with rich bass means this is the budget speaker I would recommend to all of the bass heads. Like my colleague over there who listens to dubstep, EDM and nothing else. I was jamming to Tame Impala's Dracula the other day, and man, the lush psychedelic synth and the bass line in the chorus sounded so impressive on this guy. While it was simply not as fun to listen on any of the other speakers. I still feel like Portronics could have engineered its passive radiator to push more air for an even tighter bass attack, but I know I am being super nitpicky at this point. In fact, I had no trouble watching my favorite shows and movies with the Sound Drum P because the audio delay here is practically unnoticeable. Pair that with a sweet wire mesh design and a nice enough call quality, this is still my favorite budget speaker in terms of pure value for money. I also compared it with Tribit's similarly priced Stormbox Mini Plus, which unlike this thing has a fancy RGB lighting, longer battery life and even app support with a customizable equalizer on top of other features. But guess what? The Sound Drum P has better sound quality, and ultimately that's what matters more. Okay, I want to talk about the JBL Go 4 next, and for what it's worth, this is an incredible compact speaker. It's almost the perfect successor to the Go 3 with a richer, bassier sound alongside a bunch of other upgrades, and I can fully recommend spending 1,000 rupees more for the JBL Go 4. The only problem is, like I said last year, it's priced so freaking close to the JBL Clip 5 right now that such an awesome budget speaker somehow ends up looking like a bad deal. Because the Clip 5 is just as compact as the Go 4 and it's better at literally every other thing. I mean every other thing. Be it loudness, bass response, soundstage, battery life or even portability, since JBL's Clip speakers also come with a carabiner to easily hook it into a backpack or belt loops or bicycle handbars whenever you're outside. Now, before I get into all of the big boy speakers, I'd really like to tell you about this, the Wonderboom Play from Ultimate Ears. I have actually been meaning to get my hands on this guy for quite some time since I had heard so much about this brand before. And in case you didn't know, Ultimate Ears is an American audio company that specializes in Bluetooth speakers. But I've got to say, the Wonderboom Play did not really impress me. I guess it sounds all right with particularly nice trebles, but that is about it. What surprised me even more was that there was some noticeable audio clipping as I kept cranking up the loudness as well, especially in rock or any other song where you have multiple instruments playing at once in the mix. So yeah, this one's going straight to do not recommend it. Okay, the Xiaomi Sound Outdoor is up next, and for those who love bass and have a budget of around 4,000 rupees, this is a terrific choice because it has a tighter sound with a more controlled, punchy bass hit than something like the Portronics Sound Drum that I talked about before. It is built really well with a proper IP67 rating, a nice fabric-wrapped exterior, and a whole bunch of color options for me to choose from. That said, there is one big problem with the Xiaomi speaker that you must know about. So while I did praise how it handles the low frequencies just a minute ago, the Xiaomi Sound Outdoor almost tends to push too much air at high volumes at like 70% and up. And listening to something like the Monkey Fight Snake by the Bombay Royale, which is a funky, high-tempo instrumental track, I can't help but feel how the bass notes sound over-defined or fake in a way. I really wish Xiaomi would have added app support with a custom EQ option to fix this issue, because right now, setting the volume low is my only option. JBL's Flip Essential 2 is another interesting budget speaker that's currently available at exactly 5,000 rupees in India. It does not have app support either, but unlike the Xiaomi Sound Outdoor, this JBL speaker is tuned with a balanced sound in mind. Kinda like most of the compact entries on my list, it's perfectly pleasant to listen to, and honestly, I don't have much complaints with the way it sounds. I am just worried if it's a good value for money considering all of the other options that you get at this very price point, like the Tribit Stormbox 2 for example, which brings proper app support, more than double the battery life, and arguably better sound at a similar price. This isn't quite the bass monster as that Xiaomi speaker, even after enabling Tribit's X bass feature that's supposed to boost bass, but in most tracks I enjoyed my time with the Stormbox 2 more. It has a more enveloping sound because of the 360 design, and I can't believe how responsive its EQ is as well. Now, I have two more speakers I want to recommend, the Earfun U-Boom L and the Soundcore Glow. I have seen both of them on sale at around 5,000 rupees from time to time, and I'd say that these two speakers are best suited for two sets of buyers. Let me start with the Uboom L. It's the upgraded version of my favorite budget speaker from last year, the Earphone Uboom, and this one just sounds fantastic. Especially when you're directly facing the speaker, since this has a directional forward-facing drivers. The Uboom L is among the few budget speakers with stereo drivers, so things like instrument separation and depth are considerably nicer here. Even though you will still want to invest in a second pair for that true stereo sound. Its outdoor mode is quite interesting too, since that tends to delicately boost the lows as well as the high frequencies for a more energetic audio. Or, of course, I can always create a custom sound profile inside the earphone app if I want. But then again, what I have to tell you is when I was watching a movie with the Uboom L, I noticed a bit of mismatch between the audio and the video. They were totally out of sync, which is why I tried enabling the video mode to solve this issue. But unfortunately, I also experienced frequent audio stutters, which I think might be because of its older Bluetooth 5.0 connection. So, while the Earphone Uboom L is a great pick for listening to music both indoors as well as outdoors, you might want to look into the Soundcore Glow instead if you also plan on binging your favorite shows and movies with a bigger sound. For starters, it does not have a latency related issue at all, and look, the Soundcore Glow has such a beautiful RGB lighting as well, which makes the Uboom look so dull in comparison. And by the way, I can even customize the colors, animation effects, and brightness level of these RGB lights to really upgrade the aesthetics of my room. The Soundcore Glow checks most of the other boxes I'd expect from a killer budget speaker too, including the audio itself, since it has a very fun tuning by default with a bit more emphasis on the low frequencies to add more weight to the bass track once you enable Soundcore's bass up feature. I can definitely see most people enjoying this type of sound, although I did switch to the treble boost EQ to revive some of the finer shimmery details in the high frequency region as well. I listened to multiple songs on this guy and the Uboom L side by side, and interestingly enough, I found Earphone's trebles to be crispier, more open and more detailed. Other than this, the Soundcore Glow is IP67 dust and water resistant. It promises up to 18 hours of battery life. So all in all, this is an excellent budget speaker. So guys, there you have it, the best of the best budget speakers that you can buy right now, ranging from less than 1,000 rupees to a little over 5,000 rupees. I've tried my best to highlight the strengths and weaknesses of all of them, and I really hope you now have a clear idea about which speaker you are buying next. Thank you so much guys for staying with me till the end, and if you'd like to support my work, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching. अब गीत सुनने जाने हैं।